Hi friends, in finite element method, if you specify the component by the boundary value problem or boundary conditions, so after that we have to specify the shape of the component. That's why we prefer the shape functions. The value of field variable computed at the nodes are used to approximate the values at non-nodal points. What will be the term not non-nodal points means? The nodal points means the connecting points or the end point of the link. So in the assemblage there is a connection point, there is a assembling point, that is a connecting point, that is a node point. So other than the node points we call it as non-nodal points. That is in the element interior, that is we can simply say interior. So in between the node what will be the area, that is called as the non-nodal point, or you can here simply said interiors. By interpolation of the nodal values for the three node triangle example, the field variable is described by the approximate relations. We have only consider the approximate solutions only. We can get only approximate but acceptable solutions to be considered here. So pi x comma y is equal to, so n1 is a shape function. So n1 x comma y pi plus n2 x comma y pi plus n3 x comma y pi, where pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3 are the values of field variables at nodes. So these are the values of field variable at the node point. So how many nodes we are getting in the point, the structure, so that's specified as the nodal value of the field variable. Then n1, n2 and n3 are interpolation functions, also known as shape functions or blending functions. Blending means it's a combinations. In the finite element approach, the nodal values of the field variables are treated as unknown constants that are to be determined. The interpolation functions are most often polynomial forms of the independent variables derived to satisfy certain required conditions at the nodes. The interpolation functions are predetermined known functions of independent variables, and these functions describe the variation of the field variable within the finite element. Then degrees of freedom. The two-dimensional case with field variables pi x comma y, the triangular element described is said to have 3 degrees of freedom, as 3 nodal values of the field variable are required to describe the field variable everywhere in the element, that is scalar. So pi x comma y is equal to n1 x1 pi 1 plus n2 x comma y pi 2 plus n3 x comma y pi 3. In general, the number of degrees of freedom associated with finite element is equal to the product of number of nodes and the number of values of the field variables, and possibly its derivatives that must be computed at each nodes. That is the main thing. Then a general procedure for finite element analysis. So that is pre-processing. So define the geometry domain of the problem. Define the element types to be used. Define the material properties of the elements. Define the geometric properties of the elements, length, area and areas and the like. Define the element connectivities, that is mesh the model. Define the physical constraints, boundary conditions. Define the loadings. Solutions. Computes the unknown values of the primary field variable. Computed values are then used back substitution to the compute additional derived variables such as reaction forces, element stresses and the heat flow. Post processing. So post processor software contains sophisticated routines used for sorting, printing and plotting selected results from the finite difference finite element solutions. Then stiffness matrix, the primary characteristics of a finite element are embodied in the element stiffness matrix. For structural element, finite element, the stiffness matrix contains the geometric and material behavior information that indicates the resistance to the element to deform when subjected to loading. Such a deformation may include axial bending, shear, or torsional effects. For finite elements used in non-structural analysis, such as fluid flow and heat transfer, the term stiffness matrix is also used, since the matrix represents the resistance of the element to change when subjected to external influences. Linear spring as finite element. A linear elastic spring is a mechanical device capable of supporting axial loads only, and elongation or contraction of the spring is directly proportional to the applied axial load. The constant of proportionality between the deformation and load is referred to as the spring constant, spring rate, spring stiffness, and as the units of force per unit length. As an elastic spring supports axial loading only, we select an element coordinate system, also known as local coordinate system, as an x-axis oriented along the length of the spring. So this is the specification. So assume that both nodal displacement are 0 when the spring is undeformed. The net spring deformation is given by deflection is equal to u2 minus u1. Resultant axial force spring. So F is equal to K into deflection delta. For equilibrium, F1 plus F2 is equal to 0. So F1 is equal to minus F2. In terms of applied nodal force, F1 is equal to minus K into U2 minus U1. So these are the things. So finally we get a stiffness matrix for one spring element is equal to K minus K into K. So these are the things to be considered. So finally, so F is equal to, the F specifies the force vector, then K specifies the stiffness matrix vector, so X specifies the displacement vectors. So this is actually a 2 by 2 matrix. The matrix is symmetric. It's a consequence of symmetry of the force equal and opposite to ensure the equilibrium. Matrix is singular and therefore not invertible. That is because problem are defined is incomplete and does not have a solution. Boundary conditions are required.